It's in the Steve and Kyle Constitution that you have to avoid your neighbors like the plague.
So too bad for me. I can't go be friends with my neighbor.
You can't. You know what? You know we're bringing them a plate of cookies? Bringing them a plate of poop.
Nope.
That's right. This portion of the Steve and Kyle podcast brought to you by Fricker's Chicken.
Be a good Van Wart. Stop in daily.
Why are we doing more ads? Guys, this is our final tour ever.
Yeah.
We just wanted to say thanks for the years of support.
Yeah.
You know, I got my nice 2-bedroom ranch to go home to from 40 years of marginal talent.
This one's for Jerry Garcia, man.
Right. Am I thinking of the Reading Rainbow?
You're thinking of Reading Rainbow.
And I'm making it a railroad?
Yeah.
Got to be a common mistake,
Reading
right?
Railroad.
Reading Railroad.
It is Sunday, February 24th, 2019, the year of our Lord. It's the Steve and Kyle podcast. Definitely the first time that I've ever done the date right off the bat.
Right off the bat, where poor Nikki, well, beyond many thanks to Nikki for this, but yeah, we were having that discussion last week about what was the longest we've waited. And it turns out...
Did I see correctly that Nikki re-listened to all 135 episodes?
At least until we welcomed people in that she had listened. I'm trying to find the meticulous notes she took.
Just insane. Nikki, I know that sometimes we give you impossible tasks. Best to let those remain impossible.
Yeah, we can all just agree, like, that was a fact that probably could have faded into the ether without ever having been actually found out.
Yeah.
I mean, thank you for doing it. My goodness, that's absurd.
Also, thank you to Nikki. She tweeted a picture. Have you seen this yet? Tweeted a picture on Friday.
Oh, no, I didn't look.
Well, there was some scuttle because some pillows had been ordered from our merch store, StephenKyle.com/merch.
Oh!
If you look up at the screen, apparently it was Nikki because there's her puppy laying on the bed with a Pete the Pirate throw pillow, a Steve and Kyle podcast caricature throw pillow, and a Stevie Tortellini throw pillow. Man, that looks good on a pillow.
Steve E. Tortellini, boy, that pirate Pete. They all look fantastic. That's tremendous. Yeah. And
I like how in every representation of you, there is a cigarette hanging out of your mouth.
Yeah,
not you.
Sorry.
Pete the Pirate.
But on my face, too, on all of our logos. The only time I haven't been characterized with a cigarette, and I hope it goes out, I don't smoke. Never have.
Have you ever smoked a cigarette?
I've smoked a cigarette.
Did you, like when you were a kid, you like tried to smoke a cigarette or something?
No, like after 18, but it's like I didn't know how to even inhale, and why would anybody want to do that? Like, no, you just keep it in there and you swallow the smoke.
You put it in your ear.
Like, what? Is there? No, so I just went through the motions and not enjoyable, but I do enjoy a cigar or a cigarillo. Yep. We're still waiting on those Don Quixote.
No, Don Carlo, Eye of the Shark 2. Boy, it's early.
An early appearance by the throat goblin of Steve. I get, well, I don't want to digress too much, but we do need to talk about that is coming up very soon. The second ever National Throat Goblin Championship from Steve.
Oh boy, it's going to be a heck of a tournament this year.
It is shaping up.
But we digress.
To have a lot of candidates. But yeah, so no,
Nikki, thank you for ordering those pillows. They look great. The quality of them looks really good too. Like I'm surprised at how bold the colors are. If you want to see them, just follow us on Twitter at Steve and Kyle. We just retweeted it. Or if you go to StephenKyle.com/merch, you'll see our merch store. There's a ton, probably 15 different designs, 20 different designs maybe.
Yeah, we're definitely in the teens for now, and always adding more. We always send some ideas to Philip and then wait for him to get back to us because he's doing this for we can safely say nearly $0.
Yeah, so we finally did make good with Philip, right?
Yeah. He got his cut.
Wasn't it like $6 or something?
No, it was very small. Like something like $15.
Woo,
but
boy, it's all worth it, isn't it, Philip?
And that's because we keep these margins so low.
Yeah,
that we're not making much off of the shirt itself. We're only making like $2 or $3 per item for the most part. Which is fine. That's the way we want to keep it. We have no real desire to break the bank here.
Sure, yeah. I mean, in a perfect world, I'd love to make thousands of dollars a month off this stuff. But look, it's not going to happen. If a couple people buy a T-shirt a month, I'm happy with that. Nikki buying 3 pillows, that's ridiculous. I'm thrilled with that.
Yeah,
but
that's outstanding.
That's not what this podcast is for. We're not here to make a ton of money off of it or anything. If we can make enough to offset like the $20 a month that it costs for us to upload these for the server costs and everything.
I've been paying $20 a month for probably a little over 2 years.
Close to 3 years.
Yeah, we weren't on our first podcast host very long.
Yeah.
And that'd be something.
But I was thinking about that last week after we recorded. I was sitting up on the couch kind of doing it, just making a couple of edits to it. And Annette was sitting there, and I said to her, I was like I always go through because I have to figure out what episode it is so I can put it in the little liner notes. I was like, we're at 135 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
About 129 in a row.
We are
without missing a week.
And let's see. So 3 years of episodes. Like, let's see. What's 3 years is 156 weeks.
Yeah.
But yeah, so really we're coming up on the 3-year anniversary of our first recorded episode. It was like June 10th or June 11th of 16.
Yeah, I think the first recorded episode that we didn't really release was in April. We re-recorded and ended up, it should be on our iTunes because we did a anniversary show.
Sometime in June.
Last year, I believe, we did an anniversary live stream, Steve. We should bring something like that back.
Was that last year or the year before?
Boy, good question. No, it couldn't have been 2 years ago because we haven't been... It has to have been last year.
I don't know.
I think it was last April, APS 2.0. We rigged it up. We had the live stream. 2 to 4 people watched at a time.
Last year would have been here.
In April?
Yeah. We've been here for a year and a half.
Oh, I feel like you're lying to me.
I mean, I am. That's...
Needless to say, a lot of episodes. APS 4.0 coming.
Well, we don't want to...
Right? APS 4.0 coming.
It is coming.
APS 4.0. But Nikki did tweet, and again, so we're saying we can't believe this. She said, "My good Lord, this took forever. Last week was certainly not the longest time it took Steve to welcome us to the podcast. On June 26, 2018, we were not welcomed until 1 hour, 1 minute, and 50 seconds in."
And so then she listened to it. Because there's no way to jump around and find that because it's such a short, it's a 3-second statement every month or every episode.
Yeah. And she followed that up with, I listened to the 4 times. In January 29 of this year, she doesn't think she ever heard you welcome in.
Whoa.
So we may have a scandal afoot.
Conspiracy is brewing. So she listened to the episode 4 times?
That's what she said. So to really tie that up in a bow, all I can say is it turns out that Steve may not have said welcome to the show on January 29th. And that is the history
of the mystery. Wow.
But we need like an audio stinger for when we drop one of those because you can't just come out of that when you drop a history of the mystery.
Yeah.
And when we finally record that podcast, that means the episode will be over.
That would be nice. That would be a great way.
Just like a quick audio clip. We need to get K-Mac on retainer.
Do we?
I mean, he'd finally respond to us.
Yeah, if we offered him money.
Yeah. It's that's an outstanding task. So Steve, I think Nikki appreciates your diligence in
Well, we
getting to that early this
appreciate,
episode.
We appreciate her too, because that's too much nonsensical work.
I appreciate the manner in which she did it. A lot of people might be listening to it and have a Word document or a note open on their phone. No. 100 and whatever. What's the standard page?
Oh, it's like you have regular ruled and then college ruled.
Yeah. A spiral notebook of lined paper. Looks like she used, I'm guessing that's I'd say mechanical pencil. You go standard pencil, mechanical pencil, or you going pen?
I never liked the mechanical pencils because the lead, the graphite, whatever it is, it was too thin. And I don't know, I guess I have big, stupid, heavy hands because I would always
just snap it.
Yeah, it would snap off after one word.
I think a lot of people would question, why are you trying to injure the paper?
Yeah.
You're just writing.
Yeah, it was because it was so thin. It was like a syringe. Give me a Ticonderoga number 2.
Well, you had a 0.5 millimeter. I want to say it was a 3/4 millimeter when you bought your lead.
Oh, really? I didn't know.
Yeah, there was different kinds. Always came in those little tubes.
I was always turned off by how easily they broke. I didn't want to waste that space in my pencil case.
Oh,
that was that was inadvertently a rhyme.
You had spatial issues in your pencil case, and that was the big deal.
Why would I keep that lead in there that I know is going to break when I can just have another number 2 in there?
Today's day and age, Steve. It's a 2019. Do you think there are still pencil sharpeners in schools?
No way.
So they're all using pens? Or is it sorry, parents,
it's probably something we've never heard of.
Gotta buy the mechanical pencils.
Man, I don't know. Oh, and then do you remember those stupid erasable pens? Oh, they were such garbage. They were terrible. You'd write with them, and I don't know what it was, but the ink was different in them because it would never dry. You'd get to the bottom of your page
in your hand,
and if you went back up and accidentally brushed your hand against the top line, it would still smudge. And then it had a stupid eraser on the back of it, and you tried to erase it, and all it did was just spread it around. It was terrible.
Now, you were born and raised on the East Coast, and me, but I think I can probably say it's similar for both of us, that you could always tell the rich kids in class because they always had different colored gel pens. And you knew you were dealing with somebody who had the finest of all items.
Or that kid that would have the really fat pen.
Yeah.
And it would have 7 or 8 colors around the outside, and you'd push the one little plunger down oh, maybe I'm going to write with orange today.
Yeah.
And they'd push that down, write a couple words, and then bink, flick it back up and say, I'm going to finish this line with green.
And I'm sitting there,
bastard,
with a pencil that I've probably eaten the eraser off of. So I've got,
and then you bite the
metal
part.
Yeah. So I've got a 19-cent eraser cowboy boot that I've jammed on the top of it. It doesn't really work.
You're a big fan of the Southwest.
It's more rubber than it is than eraser. So you're just flailing around with the spur on a cowboy boot trying to erase a letter that you just wrote.
Yeah.
And that's my upbringing, knowing that I was looking at, Jessica over there must be living in wealth as she's, writing with her purple glitter pen on her poster board. And I'm sitting here trying to do different shades of gray with my ground down Ticonderoga number 2.
Boy, we are breaking it down this week. I always keep a little running list of our notes for what we talked about on the show so I can put them in the description. So this one is breaking down pens and pencils from our youth.
When was the last time you saw or utilized a pencil sharpener?
Oh, man. I don't know. Because you always, there was always the one in the classroom, the little crank
grinder
one.
Yeah.
But then eventually you get the electric pencil sharpener, so you
Yep.
put the pencil in. But remember how you could also, the little ones, they would come with a pack of pencils or something, and it was a little square, 1 inch by 2 inches or something.
Oh, yeah.
And then you just feed the pencil into there, and you sharpen it.
Like a compact one.
Yeah, a little handheld one.
But now you do a lot of DIY stuff. We've talked about that. So a lot of that's pencil. You're marking with your pencils. Have you just been using the same pencil and it just happens to be fine tipped?
No, I have the same pencil, but since I don't have a pencil sharpener, I just use a utility knife.
Oh, I was going to say, okay, so you are sharpening it. Because I was about to ask you, what if I went upstairs, grabbed your pencil, snapped the lead off? Would you just not be able to do DIY anymore?
I'm done. I'm retiring. Like, oh, okay. Got to call a contractor to finish this job.
Now, maybe you were like...
why couldn't you... It looks like you were doing pretty well. Why couldn't you finish it? Pencil broke.
I mean, it's power. I'll be back when I can find a sharpener.
You know what I mean.
At this point, when... the apocalypse happens and our technology is ham radios and hand pencil sharpeners. That's the only future.
Yeah.
But maybe you were like me, Steve, but those, screwed into a stud of the wall pencil sharpeners at the school, those were the perfect way to... Well, hope you were going to find out an answer to a test or a quiz. You said,
"Oh yeah,
I'll just go get up and sharpen my pencil."
Because the gears in the pencil sharpener represent the gears in my brain. They're turning. If they're turning, my wheels are turning. I'll figure this out.
Do you think there's even a handful of people listening to us right now that they had to have turned it off as soon as we started breaking down erasers? That have never used a pencil sharpener?
Boy, I'm gonna have to cut you off there because I'm looking at this beauty up here on Amazon. This Bostitch metal antimicrobial manual pencil sharpener. In
okay,
black. Well, $12.98. Boy, I may be placing this on a list for this coming December. Somebody in the office here is getting a pencil sharpener.
Well, you better watch out. Because that is $2.78 over the...
That's all right.
The office limit.
Okay.
And
look at this. Boy, oh boy. Finco, 96-piece colored pencil sharpeners. 96 of them for $9.
So that it's just a little blade in there.
It's the one that we were just talking about. Yeah.
Yep. And it's going to break off almost immediately.
I liked these. The ones that had like the clear... Because the pencil sharpener, you put the pencil in there, and the case of it is what caught all of the pencil grounds. But typically the case was, painted or metal or something. Yeah. But yeah, there was one teacher I remember. She had one. It looked like the standard pencil sharpener with the crank on it, but the casing of it was clear, and that to me was awesome because you could see all the little gears inside doing its job. Oh boy. This is taking me. Oh boy, here's the ones I had. A little wedge shaped.
Oh God,
that's a nice one. That's a nice pencil sharpener.
Oh woof. I mean, at that point, you might as well just wear the ripped, stained sweatpants to school.
This is it. Look, see.
Oh, that's the
clear
one.
Yeah, the clear one made by X-Acto. $787. Whew. We may have to incorporate that into APS 4.0.
I think we need a pencil sharpener in APS 4.0.
We're going to start every episode
with a grinding pencil. I can honestly say, we never have
I'm going to start making a list of needs for APS.
Well, so we can, you're going to skip right past the drywall, the table, any form of a table.
Well, this is a list of the accoutrements that we need.
Okay.
Like once the actual...
accessories.
Yeah. Once everything is done. So we have... pencil sharpener. Okay. Now,
that's the big one?
That's it. Yeah. Here's what we have to do moving forward. Anything we think of, we put on this list.
Yeah.
And then when the studio is done, whenever that may be, we have to buy everything on this list, no questions asked.
Should we have to not justify, but explain how this came about? Because I feel like in 2020, never.
Because I'm going to forget this conversation by next week.
There's no question.
So, yeah, 2020 never comes along. I'm going to look at this list and say, I don't know why, but we need to buy a pencil sharpener, and we need to put it in the studio.
And it's got to be one with a clear case.
Oh, I'll put the link in there, man.
And it's getting screwed into the stud through the drywall.
I'm going to actually link that. Do you like the blue one? Like the light blue, or it looked like they also had a like a light red or pink?
I like that blue.
Let's see. Yeah, we got pink over here. That one's pretty nice.
Should we do like a lot of...
Oh, good Lord, look at this one. Look at all the different size pencils it takes.
Oh no. No.
Oh,
No.
I'm not on board with that.
Okay,
by
good.
Any means.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that it's been dramatic advances in the pencil sharpener industry in the last 30 years.
Yeah, boy, I demand old school. I think we almost cut a hole in the drywall around it so we can kind of set it back.
Oh,
maybe we put it,
we recess it into the wall.
but maybe we put it on a bit of an arm, so when it's needed, we can pull it out.
Okay.
You know,
All right.
and then it sets back so it's flush against the wall, like a little mini curtain. We drop over it,
And then it'll have like some kind of thing attached to the bottom of it, so when we need to empty it, we just drop it right into the bag.
Oh yeah. No.
All right.
Oh boy, we've got ideas. APS 4.0.
Is there anything else that we've talked about that we need?
Oh, I'm
in
sure
the
there is.
studio?
I'm sure
if
there
anybody
is.
can think of anything, just tweet it at us or Facebook message us or something.
Should we do like a lot of famous people do who think they're more famous than they are online and like post an Amazon wish list for people to buy us things, Steve?
No.
I feel like that's a great idea.
While I would love for someone to buy me something, I will not be asking for this to be crowdfunded in any way.
So stupid.
In any
I
way.
see that and I cringe.
Yeah.
Because it's usually on it's somebody had retweeted a joke or something and I click on the person like, oh, hey, that was pretty funny, and you see like, here's my Amazon wish list. Like,
Yeah.
no, this isn't this isn't a gift registry, a bridal or a wedding registry or anything like that.
No, the only crowdfunding that's acceptable is for medical expenses if you're poor, or billboards. That's it.
Maybe we make a new funding site, not a GoFundMe and Indie. No, none of that. But where the only two campaigns allowed are if you're really sick or if you want a billboard.
Oh, I like it.
I feel like we're being we're going to be in the pocket of like Lamar advertising.
Yeah, big billboard.
Is there a billboard lobby?
Yeah.
There has to be, right?
Absolutely.
Trying to keep those things, well, one, up, and two, still being used.
Yeah.
Okay. And again,
right.
we digress, but I needed to say something because you mentioned last week the billboard is in its final stages.
It is.
We have sent off a final design idea that Philip created for us that we are waiting on a final proof. We have only one concern about it. We're just wondering how it's going to come back.
I don't think it's going to be an issue.
I don't either. But this is also a guy who took almost 2 weeks to notice that his check wasn't signed.
It's true. But I think that if it hasn't been noticed yet, because now we're a week out from, actually we're 4 days out from the deadline that he gave us.
He had said March, yeah.
So I would assume that at this point that the artwork that Philip made for us, we shipped it off to them. They are now in the whatever the stages are, whatever they have to do to make that a final proof. I don't know, but that is happening. So I would think that we're okay.
I'm still skeptical.
I am.
Should we even say what we're referencing about the?
No. I don't. We're just. There's a chance that something that's in the artwork may have to be edited out. It's not anything that's it's not like vulgar or anything.
No,
like that.
No.
Just we're not sure of the legalities of exactly.
That's right. We're such risk takers. We're such risk takers here at the Steve and Kyle Podcast. We're pushing the boundaries of billboards.
You know what I would like to do though, for full transparency, I want to get a screenshot of the final amount that we raised for the billboard with the GoFundMe, and then some kind of invoice from the billboard company showing what we paid for it. So that way, I think we raised, after the GoFundMe fees, it was like
$497.
I thought it was like I thought it was 480 something after they took their cut.
If that's the case, Steve, you owe me about $6.50.
Because it was total. The billboard was $500. So your friends here, Steve and Kyle, well, actually just Kyle, chipped in $13 to round it up.
It got.
Do you think we could have dug our feet in and been like, no, 487?
Well, here's what I'll say. I feel like senior account executive Joe, who is going to be at the billboard unveiling with us.
Is he bringing a ribbon?
Yeah, we're
and a big pair of novelty scissors.
Ooh, put those on the list. Big pair of novelty scissors.
Okay, now the problem is with that, we need at least 2 other people need to be there, including us.
Oh, Brothers Humphrey.
Actually, 3 people.
They're just going to be in the back.
3 people, because there needs to be somebody holding each end of the ribbon.
Yeah.
Me and you in the middle, obviously, holding the novelty scissors, and then somebody to take a picture.
So we need 4 because we need one person to clap.
Oh, true. Yeah, because we have to declare the billboard officially open.
Yeah. So I feel we do have some promises. We've got Patrick, who lives down there and is very possibly going to help us on the leg of the Steve Express
procuring
the billboard back here.
The billboard artwork.
Zach, I believe our friend Zach is going to make an appearance there. The brothers Humphrey are going to be there just in the back wearing, low pulled over black stocking caps, fingerless gloves, and just cracking their knuckles while they look at me until I pay them back
right, yeah.
their $10.
Did you figure out what the points are on that yet? Like, is it going to be like $3,000 by the time we get there?
They sent me a tweet. They had both done me a favor and changed their Twitter handles to the brothers Humphrey.
Did they really?
And I was told
those guys.
Which is a tremendous effort to insert yourself into that. So because now I'm always going to know when I look, like, oh boy, the brothers Humphrey, they're coming. And let me find this quick. Because they said, okay, from the handshake, you agree to the fine print interest rate at 0.02% a day. They would expect $21.20 by April 6th.
Now, is that including April 6th?
I don't know, because here's
Look, guys, don't cut them any breaks here. You include April 6th. I mean, in my experience, as soon as midnight strikes, you're on the hook for that whole day. I
believe that's 2 cents a day. Is that what that comes out to? At 0.02% a day. Listen, I don't want my knees capped, but I'm questioning their math.
Yeah, whatever.
$10 at 0.02% per day. Well, 1% of $10 is $1. 1/10 of that would be 10 cents. So 2 cents a day at 60 days feels like I should only owe about $11.20.
Oh boy! Oh, are you questioning? Are you questioning the mob?
I mean, I would never. I am no math guru myself. I would just ask that they take a nice Ticonderoga number 2 to paper.
Mm-hmm. We'll provide the pencil sharpener.
And we'll sharpen that for you, and you do some long form algebra. I'll even show you the equations.
Yeah.
But no, 2120 is the number. 2120 is what they'll get.
I also want to thank listener James on Twitter. Just recently tweeted us a video of him with his beautiful little daughter. And in this video, it's a very quick 4-second video. James is wearing that's the official World Tour shirt.
It's version 1.0.
Yeah,
World Tour 2017 T-shirt.
Yeah, he was one of the originals. That is not the reissue. Not at all.
You literally can't find this one anywhere.
But a video of him. He's wearing the shirt, and his daughter seems to think that I am him.
Annie, who's this?
That's right.
Who's this? Dada. And he's pointing at me on the shirt. Now he goes to point to you, but the video cuts off.
Oh, I mean, who's that? Jerk.
What about over here? Who's that? Annie, who's this?
Is that Annie? Is that what he said to her name is?
What about over here? Who's that? Annie, who's this?
Annie?
So.
Beautiful little girl. Thank you, James. That's it's nice to know that I'm more of a father than you are. So just hand that child over.
We can only
try again.
Assume that when he said, "And who's this?" she said her first full words of "bald idiot." something else equally insulting.
Loser.
And he felt just bad enough that he had to cut that one out.
Yeah, that's wonderful, James. Thank you very much. Thank you again to Nikki for the incredible breakdown, the official statistician of the Steve and Kyle podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you to the brothers Humphrey, But yeah, check the math. You never know.
Yeah, just take a look for me.
Math might be higher than actually.
Yeah.
You know?
And to go back a little bit, yeah, we mentioned it. Please do come along. There's an event on Facebook that we've made. RSVP to that. The billboard unveiling, Van Wert, Ohio. Again, as soon as I get a receipt from Joe saying that we're paid in full and ready to go, we'll post a location of the billboard. I just don't want anything screwy to happen before that. And we'll post that location.
Yeah, we know that people are
everybody.
making their plans in advance. So
Sure.
we want to make sure that they book the hotels that are closest.
Certainly. Yeah, I mean, we're thinking about treating this like a wedding, maybe calling up the Holiday Inn Express down the road and getting a block of rooms.
Yeah, get a group rate.
So yeah, we'll fill 8 rooms if you give us 25% off or something like that. And so that is coming very soon. But I did want to say something in my own defense. Now, the reason this has been put on not the back burner, but it has been delayed for a few days is because I sent this check off the morning that I was rushing out to work. I was like, I got to get this thing in the mail, quick fill it out. And I took the time. I put the panel number and the tab ID down there on the memo line, and boom, in the envelope and gone. Get an email a week and a half later from Joe, who's yes,
That was great.
who says that, hey, just looking at the check, it's definitely not signed. Oh, okay, no big deal. Just send it back. I'll sign it. And now here's what I have to say to you, Steve. Now, granted, I don't use checks a lot. And by a lot, I mean I've probably written one in the last 5 years.
The only place that I've written a check for, or the only place I've written a check to in the last year, I think is for some reason like the fertilizer, the lawn fertilizer company. I can either pay with a check or like I have to write in a credit card number on the paper, and I never feel safe doing that.
Really?
So I just write a check.
So you write a personal check for that.
Personal check.
So I get it back in the envelope. I open it up and I go, in my defense, there's nothing on checks that say signature, or at least on the ones that we have. Is there normally like under that line where you'd sign where it would say signature?
Yeah, I guess I never really looked at it, but yeah, it's the line in the bottom right corner.
Yeah.
Sometimes next to it, it'll say signature.
This one did not. So I showed it up because, Katie made me feel stupid. The podcast made me feel stupid.
Of course, yeah. I mean, that's our job. That's our duty.
So, hey, here, look it. It doesn't even say signature. So I squeeze it in next to the paragraph of notes that I had written because, like I said, I wrote down panel, tab ID, the dates that we're getting it, because it's not my name on the check and it's not even my last name of my wife.
So it's still her maiden name.
It's her maiden name.
With like her parents' address or something.
3 addresses ago.
All right.
Because that's how infrequently we use checks, but the bank account's the same. So I wanted to make sure all of the details were on the check properly.
Right, because you're a detail-oriented man.
Detail-oriented man.
I mean, you don't want to screw up one of the simplest things known to
I'm
man.
just saying, there's
Again.
no real, unless you've gone to check writing class down at the local learning center.
I had a check writing class in high school.
You did not.
Yeah, we had. Well, it wasn't a full semester of check writing,
Right. That's right.
but it was a class where we learned how to write and balance checkbooks.
Tonight, crossing the stage, we're honoring Steve. In his duration here at this high school, he excelled in check writing.
And checkbook balancing, man. I balanced that checkbook so fast.
Do you still balance your checkbook?
No, not a
Okay,
chance. I haven't
because
balanced my checkbook since that class.
I've had this argument with my mother, who's like, well, I got to balance the checkbook. And I said, Mom, you have a bank account.
Yeah.
If you're that worried, write down like, hey, bought this or purchase here, and just make sure that nothing else is taken out.
Right.
But to sit down, compare your bank account before.
No.
When
And
you're
then
on a computer
pull out all
doing
of your
it.
receipts.
Yeah.
Nope.
You don't need to.
No, I check my statement every day usually.
Yeah.
If it's not, because that is the best thing to do when you're in the bathroom. You just
check
pull
the
out
sta-
the
yeah,
phone,
in the bank.
open up the app. Yes. And very rarely I'll see something that I'll go, I'll just say to Annette like, hey, did you order something from blah blah blah?
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. All right.
Done. All good.
Yeah.
Like, as long as you're not noticing, like, well, I don't think I Western Unioned $900.
Man, I don't remember buying $300 in iTunes gift cards and sending them to a prince in Nigeria.
But
I mean,
it was that weekend I drank a lot. You never really know how it goes. But again, back to the billboard. We do have that event. It's on Facebook. Please check it out. RSVP if you can go. I meant to mention this last week. Friend of the show, friend of the podcast, and friend of your sidekick, Steve, Timmy DeShano.
Yes, Timmy
posted a couple of times now on the event Facebook page, and the most recent one I wanted to mention in case this would help anybody. And that is, hey all, Flint, Michigan area or meet nearby. If you want to carpool, I have no problem being the driver. Send a message if you're interested. So if you want to go and you're just not interested in the full 3.5 hour drive or whatever, wherever it is from where you're coming from, if you're in the Michigan area, west side or east side, and you'd like to carpool with a fellow Steve and Kyle fan and talk about all the uproarious times you've had listening to this program, please find Timmy on the event page. Send him a message. Maybe you can carpool down there. And to prove that he's a person, he posted a picture of himself wearing the Steve E. Tortellini pizza shirt at one of your, I'm guessing, Flint night show. Have you done one of those before?
We haven't done a night show in Flint in a couple of years, so that would have been
maybe it's dark just in the morning. But yeah he has that shirt on to show that he is legitimate. And he is also, he changed his vacation
that's
time.
Here. That's I think
was that in Grand Rapids?
Yeah, it's Grand Rapids. I know he's made. Yeah, this was
made the trip.
Yeah, this was a couple months ago I think in November when we did the. Yeah, it was in November when we did our show the day before Thanksgiving.
Timmy also posted a picture changing his vacation time to make sure he can come to the billboard unveiling. Boy, Timmy, I thank you so much. You are going to be remarkably disappointed.
Yeah.
In everything.
Hopefully, now we're going to have to check the official ledger to see if Timmy donated or if Timmy's drinking pond scum.
Boy, that is, we've got our GoFundMe checkbook where we recorded ins and outs of everybody, so we'll go blow the dust off of that.
Yeah.
And check to make sure he is in line. But again, that's Saturday, April 6th, coming up, Van Wert, Ohio, coming up very soon.
It is. Yeah,
I mean, that's 5 weeks, 5 or 6 weeks away.
By the time this podcast is out, it's like 5 weeks away.
Ooh, coming up very soon. Still working to get a live podcast anywhere. We may need to recruit Patrick because maybe we can go eat at Frickers
and then go to his house
and either go to we need to find another bar, something that will let us podcast over their PA system.
Yeah, Patrick, you're our official account executive. If you could go out and pound the pavement. Yeah. See what you can find. See if you can find us a place. We'd appreciate it. It doesn't have to be big. As long as it seats about 4 to 5 people, we should be good.
So, I mean, I'd say.
Do we have to get a crowd mic now so we can hear the...
Oh, yeah.
Hear the response.
The murmuring disappointment. As we have, like, one micro... But it's in our ears, too. So It's just one microphone that we use electrical tape on and next to a booth at this bar. And the time is... What are they doing?
Yeah, you want to get out of here? This is terrible.
If we leave, they're going to notice because we're only 2 of the 4 people here. We can't really get up. Okay, here's what we do. You act like you're going to the bathroom.
5 minutes later.
I'll act like I go to the bathroom. And we'll either kick out the bathroom window and escape that way, or you come out solo and act like you're on the phone. You walk out front. I'll come out crying 5 minutes after that. Make sure you have your coat. Let's go.
Oh man.
That'll all be on the
podcast. Maybe we shouldn't do this. Maybe we shouldn't do this show.
We have to do something, even if it's just you and me in the car by ourselves.
Yeah.
In Van Wert.
We should bring. How funny would that be if we rigged up these microphone arms in the car?
Oh yeah.
So as we're driving. Oh, I think we should do that.
We have to.
The mobile podcast unit.
I don't know how we're going to plug in the mixer.
If we bring, if we take my car, it's got like an actual like regular outlet.
You have a plug in there?
Yeah, in the console.
Good God, Jeeps have so many worthless actions.
Worthless seems pretty worthable.
Seems worthable, huh? Egg on your face.
How funny would that be for us to record as we're driving? No, it might. See, the Jeep is a bit too loud, though. How about this? We take your car, I will make it work. I'll make this all work.
Listen, if at any point you say, you need to pop the hood, like while you're rigging up and like...
I could do it easily, though.
Okay. What's the percentage chance that my battery will be dead by the time
your battery
we try
will be
to
fine.
turn
As long as we don't excessively record when the engine's turned off, we'll be fine.
I don't love it.
How great would that be, though? We just bolt these things to your center console. So we're driving down, like you're driving with a microphone right in front of your face and headphones on.
I think we need to do this. There needs to be a podcast there. I am almost just because obviously it does not appear Frickers is going to work out. If you're still willing, they are on Facebook. Just type in Frickers Van Wert.
Let's see if anyone's
we
done that
want
recently.
Steve and Kyle there. Tag us in it at Steve and Kyle. Start typing the Steve and Kyle podcast and fill it in. Tag us in that. We want the Steve and Kyle podcast at Frickers. If that doesn't work, what are your thoughts on, Steve? Assuming weather holds out, you and I park the car in front of the billboard, pop the hood, you go clamp down some whatever on the battery, and we record our podcast
record right there.
Ground zero in front of the billboard. Anybody wants to hang out, they can
like
come.
that.
It's like
I
the
do
grass
like it.
seating at the minor league ballpark where
like
people
it.
can bring their blankets. Maybe some. We're not going to have like a speaker or anything, so you're not going to be able to hear us outside of us talking, and you'll hear the traffic because we're on a major
perfect.
roadway.
Perfect. Yeah, I think we can thin out a lot of the stuff that we don't need here. We don't need the laptop. We don't need the iPad.
Yeah. We do a live version of the Fast Five song.
Fast Five. Zoo, 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 zoo. Or we just have we put all that stuff on our phone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, put that soundboard app right on the phone.
Oh boy. Just to close that loop, Timmy DeShano did donate. He donated technically after the GoFundMe was closed.
Oh, no.
But he donated because I don't know how to close the GoFundMe, so the money's still there. He's the reason we got to 490 or 80 or whatever.
Okay.
So Timmy DeShano is allowed to have a drink, as well as obviously everybody who donated is. So we'll see who actually shows. And who actually is drinking Pond Scum. I believe one half of the brothers Humphrey
will be there.
Are drinking Pond Scum.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing. That is embarrassing. We have to find a drink called the Pond Scum.
Oh, there's no question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually make them drink it.
Yep. Yeah, and we'll hope the local barkeep at Frickers Chicken in Van Wert can make it. We'll just have to print it out.
Grab a handful of grass on the way in. Here, mix this in.
Here's the topper. We don't put any garnishes or anything. No, a couple of blades of Van Wert grass go here.
Let's see. The last post on Frickers about us was from Travis on February 8th. Can't wait to vacation here while hopefully listening to the Steve and Kyle podcast. 2 likes. Look at that. 2. Us and Frickers Van Wert.
See, so what do you do? Is maybe here's what we do. Here is what we do. Maybe we try again. We figure out a way to message as the page. There has to be a way, right?
Wait a minute.
Or maybe can we post on their wall and say, "Hey, can you message us?"
We can't. I don't think we can.
Because you said they can message a page, but they can't. We can't initiate.
We can't initiate it. Yeah.
So if we just post on their wall, "Hey, can you send us a message, please?" as the podcast.
Let's see.
Because I think
Frickers Van Wert's page.
I think they're coming around, Steve.
You think they're seeing the?
I think Tim Fricker and the Fricker family, they own a bunch of these chicken joints.
Yeah. Started by his grandpa during the Revolution.
Boy, Tim's old.
Yeah.
The American Revolution.
Oh, the Revolution, the great
big one, the Great Revolution,
the Great Ohio Revolution of 1944. The nation had bigger fish to fry, but Frickers was frying chicken. That's what.
That should be their. That should be their motto. That's right. That's right. While all you worrywarts were concerned about, the Nazi regime,
the war effort,
and all the hullabaloo around Japan, Frickers was still worried about the one thing that made them the go-to chicken place to begin with. Frying chicken.
Oh, we're definitely wearing them down, though, because the last, 5 posts were about us.
I think we're in.
And they've only liked the last one.
I think we talked to them a little bit about. We figured out a way to send them another message. Maybe we can make them reconsider their position.
Hold on. I'm able to comment as us. Come on, frickers. Let's make this happen.
The people want it, frickers. The people need it. Well, they've clearly demanded it.
Yeah. I mean, in the form of 5 comments on Facebook.
That's at Frickers Van Wert on Facebook. Please go there. Make a very nice post about how you would like to see our podcast able to do a live show, whether you're going or not. Now, we'd prefer you go, hang out, but please at least post on their Facebook page. Mm-hmm. Let them know Steve and Kyle is wanted and needed in Van Wert, Ohio.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely do it. Wait a minute. I think that they're... Nope, we can post on their page as us. Are you there right now?
Yes.
All right. See, we're on the create post. See, it's got your little picture next to it.
Okay.
Click that little arrow.
Yep.
Go to Steve and Kyle.
Yep, I see. Why can't we do that to message, Steve?
I don't know.
Why can't we...
Send message. Yeah, no. Doesn't happen. Doesn't do it. All right, so let's craft something right now.
Come on, frickers.
To our favorite chicken chain in South...
To our favorite regional chicken chain.
Conglomerate. No, not conglomerate. That has a bad connotation.
To our favorite regional chicken chain. The people have called. The people have called. And the people have spoken.
We apologize for all of the time that you have no doubt dedicated to replying to our legions of fans. We'll make it up for you. We'll make it up to you by you letting us do a podcast from your location on April 6th. Approximately 2 p.m.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, this is the one.
What we need is 2, perhaps 3 tables and an electrical outlet.
Our demands are as follow.
Okay.
Your location on Saturday, April 6th. Our demands are as follows. Bullet point 2, comma, maybe 3 tables.
Next bullet point. 1 electrical outlet.
1 electrical outlet.
And then the 3rd bullet point. Food to be paid for in full by us.
Food paid in full by us in parentheses. I think that's it.
I think so. Do it.
Oh, hang on. And lastly, drink recipe. Maybe a specialty drink for the day.
You know, I think because we'll worry about that once we get there. We'll go up to the barkeep, say, "Hey, barkeep, I know you probably haven't heard of this. Let's keep our demands low, so we're likely to get a yes to this whole thing."
Okay, so to our favorite regional chicken chain, the people have called and the people have spoken. We apologize for all the time you have spent responding to the legions of fans calling for our appearance. We will make it up to you by allowing you
to allow us
no, keep going, to record a live podcast at your location on Saturday, April 6th, approximately 2 p.m. Our demands are as follows. 2, maybe 3 tables. 1 electrical outlet. Food, parentheses, paid in full by us.
Let's make this happen. You will want to be known as the restaurant that secured the rights to the first live broadcast of the guys on that billboard.
Let's make this happen. You want to go down in the
Boy, that's nice.
annals of history as the place that let Steve and Kyle spread their wings.
Steve and Kyle, parentheses, the two guys on that billboard in Van Wert. Because we need to... I think that once they realize the awesome power of the podcast...
Yeah. You want to go down the annals of history as the place that let... Come on. Record their very first live show. That Steve and Kyle, obviously, Steve, like you mentioned, those two guys on the billboard less than a mile away.
Yes.
Those two guys on the billboard less than 2 miles from your restaurant.
This is going to happen. I think this might be it.
Their first ever live show. And then I'll just say message us with the details.
Deets.
Message us with the deets. That's it. So
Do
please
it.
go
Hit
find
post. I need to see it pop up on here.
at Frickers Van Wert. Please find them there. Post something similar that how you demand.
No, don't demand. Again, this is a peaceful protest. This is we want them to hear our fans, especially if you're going to be there. Boy,
Yeah.
maybe peruse their menu and say like, hey, the chicken deluxe combo meal looks great. Can't wait to order it. Is it posted?
It's posted. It's posted at Frickers Van Wert on Facebook. Please find them there.
Oh, there it is.
This is going to happen. Our very first ever live show down at Frickers and Van Wert.
2 tables and an electrical outlet.
Listen, we're simple men. We're not asking a whole lot. We're not asking a whole lot at all. So,
Oh boy.
before we get too far, I did want to mention we got a couple of big controversies that, well, one we actually advertised last week was going to be the first thing we talked about this week.
Okay, so here we are, 52 minutes in.
And we're going to push it back just a touch.
Till next week?
No. We're just going to close the show. Keep people sticking around with it.
Oh, good.
But
They could just
we needed to
fast
talk
forward,
about the poll because we didn't give this thing enough time to discuss last week, and we threw it out to the listeners on the polls at Steve and Kyle on Twitter and at our Facebook.com/Steve and Kyle on Facebook. Mm-hmm. And the question that we talked about was, how is the Monopoly piece pronounced? Is it the Reading Railroad or the Reading Railroad? You corrected me because you said your Monopoly strategy is always...
Railroads built this country, so you pick up the railroads.
Terrible policy.
You win the railroads. You win the game.
Miserable policy.
I've never lost a game.
That feels like a bold statement.
Prove me wrong.
So that was put on the poll, and I think Steve,
I'm going to be disappointed, aren't I?
I think you're going to be shocked by a margin of 56 to 44. People said it's the Reading Railroad.
That's fine, but they're wrong.
No, listen, this goes the exact same way that the poll went about your neighbors. That was a one vote difference.
The difference the difference with that is this can be proven.
No, listen. You know where it can be proven? The court of public opinion, and it has.
All right. Well, then I must have been wrong all of these years.
Yeah, keep your dirty, gross Pennsylvania mouth out of here.
The Reading Company, a company that was involved in the railroad industry in southeast Pennsylvania and neighboring states from 1924 to 1976. Boy, that's weird. They even have a pronunciation, and it's R-E-D, all in capitals, -ing. So I guess they were wrong.
It's weird. I got 200 plus votes here
that say otherwise.
So maybe
now
do you want to get old man Redding on the phone and break the news?
I don't know if he'd be up there in age at this point. He'd be staring down the barrel at 95.
Well, like generations where there's always got to be.
Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. He'd be 95 if he founded the railroad when he was born. let's give him at least until age 8 to do that.
Well,
So he's in his early hundreds.
Well, there's always, the way it'll work is there's always going to be an old man Redding. Let's just get one of them on the phone and break the news to him.
Now, did you was that posted on Facebook and Twitter?
It was, but on both accounts.
So those were that was combined results. I'm assuming
that was combined results.
Did
Steve.
one win? Were they opposite? And then when they averaged out?
No, and that's the way that the neighbor vote worked. Was that it was opposite, but the opposites were close enough that by the slimmest of margins, one vote, it was voted that you have to treat your neighbor like the plague. Okay. So on Twitter, it looks like it went 57%, Steve, to 43% in favor of the Reading Railroad. That's with more than 120 votes, so a pretty good turnout there. And on Facebook, it went, it went even more in my favor. My percentage was wrong. It went 61% to 39%. So by a margin of, it's about 59.5 to 30 or to 40.5, about 60-40.
Okay.
It's so Reading Railroad. Reading.
Follow-up question.
Yeah.
Does this have to carry over into all aspects of my life? Now, if I'm driving through the town of Reading, Pennsylvania, is it now Reading, Pennsylvania?
Yes.
Okay. Look, I don't want it to come off like I'm upset about this at all.
Yeah.
So I am bowing to the will of the people.
Yeah.
It's Reading, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, maybe you could mobilize
the Reading Railroad.
Yeah. You could mobilize the Steve Army for these polls going forward because you've
I read a book yesterday.
Yeah. You even if it's
no.
If I read a book, it's still spelled that way.
No.
That's fine.
The word Reading or red does not exist.
Boy, bold statement. I can't argue it. Yeah. This is 2 in a row you've eaten.
Now R-E-D, the color, that's still red.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep,
right.
but this is read.
I read a book yesterday.
Yep.
I read lots of books when I was back in college. I haven't read a book in quite some time.
There are a lot of comments. Now, this is almost a pencil. I would bet 85% of the country would vote Reading. Outside of Pennsylvania,
I would
that
assume
area,
so.
I would have.
If you've never heard of Reading, Pennsylvania, then there's no reason to think that it would be Reading instead of Reading.
Yeah,
they did a terrible job in the formation of that town and the company.
Yeah,
like R-E-D or R-E-D-D. That would have cleared up a lot of things.
D. Dunn knew right away, like the Reading Railroad in PA and Reading the city.
I know Dee and her family very well.
Katie Miklos. I didn't even know people were confused about this.
But she doesn't indicate which
she
way.
Did. In another comment, she said yes, this in regards to the Reading Railroad. Mm-hmm. Mike Mokris, friend of the show. People are pretty dumb. I mean, I don't know what side that could be. Any side
could be either one. Well, once again, we'd like to thank the legions of fans for letting their voice be heard and making a determination that will go down in the Steve and Kyle record books for 1,000 years.
This got so heated that even at 90s Randy Quaid made an appearance.
What?
On Twitter. The government want the sheeple to believe it. Reading Railroad. Wake up. It's Reading. Look at the proof, people.
Boy, I never thought I'd agree with 90s Randy Quaid.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like you're in line with him now. Chris Wilson tweeted, I haven't listened to this week's podcast yet, but can't wait to hear how Kyle is wrong.
On that, boy, he owes you an apology.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. Now, Chris, I don't know where you're located, and I don't think it matters. One, you owe me an apology, and two, you need to you need to admit to us every time you've referred to something as Reading or I read. No. Reading, read, that's it.
That's it. This podcast determines outcomes.
We had Michael Beast come out of the woodwork, and this even got flagged because he's used a bad word.
Oh, no.
Anyone who says reading is an idiot. The actual city and railroad are pronounced Reading.
Boy.
And then Harley came out with, I agree with Redding. Anyone who says it's pronounced reading is an uncultured Neanderthal.
Those are mean words.
And those got flagged by Twitter, I'll have you know. You have to click show more replies or show...
Wait, did they get flagged by Twitter or did they get flagged by you?
Thanks to everybody for participating in those polls.
I don't know. I don't think that idiots is one of those banned words.
No. But I think when it starts seeing... I think Twitter, when it sees like words that could be taken as harassing or whatever, it puts them that you have to click like a drop down to see more replies. Yeah. So they're doing that to cover it up.
Oh, boy. See? The cover-up continues.
Oh, and also, I did want to mention quickly, I've been, it's not any scheduled time or anything. I posted this on Facebook as well. I've been trying to release, and this is my avenue to get my own solo podcast off the ground here.
You can just do it. You can just
break away from the chains of Steve.
I mean, I'm not holding here. I'll even give you a microphone.
So I have been releasing.
Go ahead, take the microphone, take the cords. Go ahead.
Yeah, just bring it back for this episode.
No, this one's done.
Oh, okay, good.
We're done with final episode, folks.
The shackles have been removed. So I've been
Van
releasing.
Wert canceled. Delete the post to Frickers. We ain't going.
Been releasing typically weekly hot takes.
Yeah, I saw the most recent one from the other day. What was the? Oh, it was about the band Imagine Dragons.
Yeah, I've come out against band and music snobbery in the past, and I just wanted to make this one known. Also, a little way to mention my personal Twitter, which I don't really care about if people follow. I use it mostly just to argue with people and call people dumb, and then release these hot takes when they're too bubbling for me, under the surface, and I've got to release them. Now, that started with when I released the hot take that Billy Madison is the actual villain in the movie Billy Madison.
Not the older brother Eric.
I think the world's coming around on that. I think the sheeple, as 90s Randy Quaid, are finally starting to come around.
Sure.
So I started with that one. I've also released, let's see. Oh boy, I've got to find my other. One I released last week, winter better than spring.
Whoa!
Stand by that as well.
Really? Okay. Reasoning.
My main defense is you know what you're going to get. You're kind of. I'm okay.
I kind of agree with you.
Right. It's going to be cold. Right.
It's going to be cold.
You're going to have snow.
Yeah, it's going to be cold. It's just whether it's going to be snowy or just cold.
Yeah.
Whereas with spring, that's I mean, it could.
You're going to get mush.
You could get snow.
Yep.
It could be 70. Dare I say I agree with you.
Hey, welcome aboard. And this isn't some saying that winter's superior to all the other seasons.
I still hate it.
It's still not pleasant, but I'd rather have it over my itchy eyes, running nose, brown mush everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, I'm wearing shorts today. Oh, wait, I'm wearing a winter coat while I get sleet on my eye.
Yeah. Just your eye.
Then the week before, I dropped another one. Labradoodles are overrated.
I've known a couple people with them, and those things seem crazy energetic, and I think they'd annoy me.
They're energetic.
But they are hypoallergenic.
Yeah. My main defense is that they're ugly.
Oh boy. I find them pretty adorable.
Ugh. Gross matted fur out of your eyes. Nobody likes to look at that. Clean up. Shave them down. Ooh, hyperallergenic. Neat. Get to go run a racer over my dog.
Talk to dog into shaving.
And the last one was Maroon 5 is fine, and music snobs are the worst people on the internet.
Yeah, Maroon 5.
talked about
I'm
that.
assuming going back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They're I don't know. They're just they're a band. They're a pop act. Whatever. Why do people make it about more than what it really is?
So I appreciate everybody following me there. Oh, and I did follow up. I did post that on Facebook to say you can follow me on my personal Twitter if you want some hot takes. And some, actually, this could have been posted by anybody, but because some have called him the hottest taker of his time.
I noticed that.
Yeah.
I felt like maybe did one of the interns get access to the Twitter account?
Yeah, we're trying to hand off the social media to some of the staffers around here. Says you can find more like this on Kyle's personal Twitter. And I don't know what you did to this staffer, but he's finished up with, if you like pictures of tools or whatever, follow Steve as well.
Nailed it.
I mean, you can go to one and get these hot takes about music and dogs and seasons, or you can go look at Steve's new miter saw attachment.
Check out my nail gun.
And it's just you go boom, 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 shooting it into the air.
Pew, pew.
So
Okay.
be sure to follow us on all those avenues.
Yeah, we're going to have to get to the bottom of this to figure out
Hey,
who it was that posted that.
somebody out there very
By the way,
considerate.
would you like to take a Butterfinger break?
Oh yeah, sure.
Oh, no.
Did you get Butterfinger chunks or Butterfinger dust?
Butterfinger dust. Yeah, we're slowly chipping away at the
Mount
shelf.
candy. Try, folks. Break me off a piece of that Butterfinger bite. Is that how it goes?
Bite me off a piece of that Butterfinger bite.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a palindrome almost.
It's almost like, well, it's a syllable thing, so we can make it work.
Mm-hmm. No, that's good.
Very peanut buttery in there. But the one thing burning that we're gonna have to get to. Oh well, yeah, we are a little tight on time, aren't we?
You got what?
We got about 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And this might consume every last second of this,
Good.
Steve.
I love it.
Now, this is a debate that, in somewhat rare form, began off the podcast probably 3 weeks ago, right? Maybe even more.
Yeah, probably.
And came to a head 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago in public as we were talking about Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day that you were going to be celebrating with Annette, your second as a married couple.
Mm-hmm.
And we were kind of talking. Well, I said, well, Katie works and we don't really have any plans in that regard. It's a busy week.
She works like 12-hour shifts.
Yep. Yeah, as a nurse, it's 12-hour shifts. And when she works back-to-backs, the evenings are hectic just getting, with having Reed around. And it's his fault.
Jeez. You still got that kid?
Oof. Pawn him off as much as I can. So this happened while discussing Valentine's Day because, and this is going to be the poll this week. So we're going to preface it by saying that. So essentially, we're going to lay out both sides of our argument, Steve, and people can vote on it this coming week. And see, well, I know I'm going to be right. Public has voted.
I don't know. I'm on a bit of a losing streak as
Public
of late.
has voted with me 2 full weeks in a row. Now, one was by the slimmest of margins, but neither here nor there.
People don't let me down. Vote early, vote often.
Now, you had said your Valentine's Day, you guys were going to end up making dinner. You're kind of working around a window.
We weren't going to do
estimates.
We weren't going to do anything on Valentine's Day because Annette had a performance that night.
That's right.
It was performances like the 13th and 14th. I think Valentine's Day was a Thursday. So our plan was to push Valentine's Day back until either Friday. Originally, it was going to be Friday, but then Annette got home from work. She wasn't up, but neither of us were up for doing anything, like making anything. We're like, screw it, let's just do it tomorrow when we're, good to go.
Well, it's Valentine's dinner, even if it's after, so it's,
Exactly. We didn't do it on Valentine's Day, so it doesn't matter if it's the next day or 2 days later.
Yeah, and so you to do it properly anyway, in the romantic fashion, you're going to have to be cooking in your underwear with aprons.
Yeah.
And, if you're not in the mood for that, you're not in the mood for that.
Right, exactly.
So I get
apron, the kiss the cook apron.
Yep. And so you had this planned, but you knew what you were going to do. Even if it wasn't going to be on Valentine's, you guys knew what you were making.
We had planned this a couple weeks in advance because I like going out to dinner on Valentine's Day.
Sure.
And so I had said to Annette, hey, do you want to go to this restaurant that we've been to, I think maybe 2 times, and I know we haven't been there in a couple of years. I think the last time we were there was on Valentine's Day, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I said, hey, why don't we go there? I really like it. She really likes it. And food's great. And nicer restaurant. So, we get to dress up in our big people clothes, which we don't normally do.
Yeah, put on your nice outfit, your nice hat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then we realized that it was the weekend or the week that she had those performances. We're like, she suggested, why don't we just make dinner at home? Cool. I love that. I love cooking with my wife. It's something that we both enjoy doing. So I was like, yeah, I'm on board with that. Let's do it. Plus, save a little bit of money. It's not the hassle of like going out and all that crap. We'll just stay at home, eat a meal, good meal, maybe watch a movie, watch a TV show, and enjoy it.
So obviously you push it back a few days, but you're still going to do it. Now this is where we digress, or we diverge.
Right now we're walking in the snow, step by step.
Mm-hmm.
Or footprints in the sand.
Yeah.
Now, do you pick me up and carry me?
Or push you into the water?
You push me in the water, okay?
Because you're a guy. You're Steve Italy, pretty much, right? You had your
yep.
You had your
celebrate Columbus Day every year.
You had your brajol recipe that you put together.
That was good. I gotta do that again though.
You made me a lasagna for crying out loud after Reed was born. Delicious, fantastic.
It's a very simple recipe too.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Good. And so here I am thinking, oh man, Steve's gonna be doing hand pressed ravioli,
while I'm spinning pizza dough on the other hand,
5 cheeses, while he's kneading bread dough for either another calzone for whatever reason as a side dish.
Oh, for the dogs. I mean, it's Valentine's Day for them too.
Toby and Lola splitting a cheese calzone.
Or they're like Lady and the Tramp. They're eating spaghetti.
Where their noses are gonna meet. So it comes to find out that your dinner is none of that. It's none of your stereotypical fancy steak or that type of entree, pasta and fish or surf and turf. None of that, Steve.
No.
What is it that you and your lovely bride, your second ever married Valentine's Day, what is the romantic meal you two are going to cook up?
Homemade meatloaf and mashed potatoes.
Meatloaf.
Yes.
Makes the women swoon.
Well, let me just tell you, the meatloaf and mashed potatoes was Annette's idea. And that is, I know that we sound like old people, but both of us really enjoy a good meatloaf. So we did our turkey meatloaf, mashed potatoes, and it was so good. We ate that for dinner, I think 4 nights last week. Because we ended up having it on Sunday.
So you made a super-sized portion of meatloaf?
We did. It was 2 pounds of ground turkey. And so we had of course, you have your meatloaf pan. I went out and bought a special meatloaf pan for this occasion.
But I got a meatloaf pan, too. It's called the trash can.
That's just offensive.
It'll fit.
So I bought one of the meatloaf pans with the drain in the bottom of it. Boy, did that simplify the process. So we made the meatloaf, but best problem ever, we had too much meatloaf. So we had to make a second mini meatloaf to go next to it, and I considered giving that to you last week. I considered driving to your house and saying, hey, man, I know you got the baby, got the dogs, your wife works crazy hours, you got a lot going on. Here you go. Made some dinner for you. I'm just handing it to you and then walking away and waiting in my car to see you pull back the foil and see that it was a meatloaf and then slam it on the concrete.
Just watch me slowly walk, deposit it in my dumpster,
and walk back out and hand me the
thanks for the pan. Didn't have a chance to clean it.
Man, it was so good. Turkey meatloaf. It's fantastic. You're crazy if you don't like it. Anybody wants the recipe, let me know.
No.
I'll post it.
Yeah, listen, I'll give everybody the meatloaf recipe. Go into your freezer or fridge, find all the meat you haven't used in the last 6 months, throw it in a grinder, smash it together with your hands. Sorry, I didn't want to forget your favorite part, Steve. Throw pepper on it, and then put it in the oven. So that's bologna, that's ham, that's turkey,
nope.
That's Italian sausage.
I don't think you know.
That's pepperoni.
I don't think you know what's in meatloaf.
And then roast beef. And you grind it all up.
does sound good though.
Throw a little pepper on it.
Pepperoni and like roast beef. Yeah,
You try that?
I'm on board.
You want to try some experimental loaf?
Yeah, I like getting my hands dirty making the meatloaf because you're actually mixing it with, like, you're cracking eggs in there and then mixing it all with your hands.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, throw an eggshell in there too to hold it together or whatever.
That's another one that. Okay, here we go.
How should we phrase this?
No.
Now
before we even get to the web poll, if I win, you're coming over for meatloaf dinner.
Oh, God, I'm stopping at McDonald's before I get here.
And if I lose, I don't know. You determine the payoff.
We're meeting for like a spaghetti-o dinner.
Spaghetti-o dinner?
I have no idea. I don't know what would be. Wait a minute. You don't like SpaghettiOs?
No.
An American classic.
The spaghetti, like the actual rings are fine, but the sauce, it's like ketchup.
It's the best part. You throw some sliced Franks in there.
Oh my
Maybe a
God.
few of the
What are you, a
meatballs.
child?
Whoa. There is nothing wrong with a good can of Chef Boyardee SpaghettiOs.
This might be the poll then.
Oh,
which,
no.
Which
because
is
I'm
better?
still more fire. Well, that's.
Which is better?
Ooh.
Homemade meatloaf or SpaghettiOs?
Do I want to throw. Okay.
All right, I mean, do you feel. To be honest, I'm not confident that I would win that.
I'm not either because I feel like I'm still going to get that percentage of votes that votes against me to vote against me.
No, nobody does that. Not
And,
a chance. Actually, now that I remembered, I took a picture
of the loaf?
of the meatloaf because I was going to send it to you.
Now, here is part of my defense has been,
Did
Steve.
I delete it?
And here's what I told
Why would I
you.
delete a picture of meatloaf?
Because you didn't want to think you took a picture of one of your number twos and left it on your phone.
Oh, here's the time I put a number 2 in my oven. Oops.
So here's what we
It's-
talked about.
Oh, there. Oh, look at that. Look at that.
What do we got?
2 loaves.
It could be-
That little one almost ended up on your on your doorstep,
Yeah, and then
and then literally on your doorstep. Would you even feed that to your dogs?
no, God knows.
You know, it's like regular ingredients.
You know what I would feed him, right?
Pond scum
SpaghettiOs.
helps build strong dog.
That
strong
nice,
dog bones.
hearty pasta sauce.
Right, yeah, made from Uncle Vito in Italy, no doubt.
The
right?
original Boyardee recipe handed down from Boyardee to Boyardee. So
Man, was it as big of a shock for you when you found out that Chef Boyardee was an actual person? Because growing up, I just assumed that Chef Boyardee, that was just
Wait.
like a name. Yeah, he was an actual guy.
No.
Yeah, and it was pronounced Boyardee.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Chef Boyardee is not some cartoon character.
No, it's an actual person. So I guess, yes, you were just as shocked. For me, that was
Wow.
always just a brand, and there was no actual person. I always assumed that, like, Boyardee meant something in Italian, like, it's great.
Do you think the Boyardee family, sorry, I want to pronounce it correctly, in Italy is now like, well, one, they've either changed their name or like hangs their head in shape because they've got, the families down the street that have been centuries perfecting the family sauce and the family pasta recipes. And then Boyardee comes around, throws ketchup in, mixes it with water, and says, boom, let me get in every store ever.
No, I think they're legends.
You think so?
Yeah, because they are the ones that trick stupid Americans. Like, hey, get a load of this. I put kitty litter in it, and they said it was great. I could do anything, and these idiots will eat it.
First of all, bite your tongue. That's the SpaghettiO you're talking about.
Sorry, I apologize.
And so to go back, we had a little bit of this argument while in public. We were waiting for a table before the comedy show a few weeks ago, and this came up again. And
it's one of those debates that it's covered bridges and suspension bridges.
It's covered bridge, suspension bridge.
I'll tell you what, you give me a meatloaf at a private table on a covered bridge, I'm a happy man.
Yeah, it's got to be a private table because you're embarrassed to order it in public. And that's what I said when we're out. I said, yeah, that's the only reason you're doing this made at home and because you're too embarrassed to go out to a public
Not a
restaurant
chance.
and say, "Yeah, I'll have the meatloaf."
You sent me a picture of the menu at a restaurant that you were at.
Yeah.
I knew what restaurant you were at based on the meatloaf. I was like, I've had that meatloaf a dozen times.
You've had the meatloaf because
I had that meatloaf at my rehearsal dinner the
Yeah.
night before my wedding.
You were in a private room with only family and friends, so shame couldn't be brought further upon you.
God's honest truth,
Yeah.
I have eaten that meatloaf in a public setting.
In full
Full view.
full disclosure,
I'll hold up a flag that says I'm eating the meatloaf.
we'll look at the judgmental eyes as they walk past you.
No, people
A
will walk
cold-
by and say that's a good meatloaf.
They would not. There's no chance at this place. People are walking
Guarantee
by going,
it.
you got the meatloaf.
I bet if you pulled up that restaurant's Yelp reviews,
there'd be
somebody
one that
would mention
mentions
how
the
good.
meatloaf.
Somebody would mention how good the meatloaf is.
And I stand by it that you're too embarrassed to order it and eat it in public. That's why you made it at home in shame
Nope.
with you and your
Well,
wife.
this is easy to solve because we'll just go out to dinner to that restaurant
Yeah, you'll get the meatloaf.
and we'll order meatloaf.
yeah. And I'll walk around to tables around us like, hey, believe this guy got the meatloaf?
Check out the loser.
What do you got there? Oh, looks like a nice burger. Yeah. You know what you didn't get? The meatloaf.
All right, next Saturday night, it's on. Meatloaf dinner. Me and you, mano a mano.
Let me check my calendar for meatloaf. But no, this has to be Okay, here's what I'll say.
Hell, I'll meet you for lunch.
Next Saturday night.
I'll do it today.
It's on one way or another. We're having dinner. Now, if this poll breaks,
Ooh, actually, can't do it next Saturday.
can't either.
No. Maybe Sunday. Sunday dinner.
Hard pass. Can't do it.
Sunday loaf.
Can't do it.
What do you got going on?
Katie works.
Well, it's a shame she won't be there for meatloaf dinner.
So I think that'll be the poll. What do you prefer?
So we're putting
I think so.
SpaghettiOs against meatloaf.
I am not
Two
confident.
American classics.
I am not
Neither am
confident
I.
at all.
No.
I think this is
I think
going
this
your
one
way.
This one is going to be dead 50-50 with 0 votes. Or two votes. It'll be me and you voting. I'll vote meatloaf. You'll vote SpaghettiOs.
Yeah.
And no one else will vote because they'll be so disgusted.
I think if you were to say, hey, hey, what do we want for dinner tonight? I got two options. We can either throw the meatloaf in the oven or we can have SpaghettiOs. I'm telling you, I'm making SpaghettiOs.
Boy, no.
You can keep your ground up horse hooves
It's ground turkey
and
again.
duck necks.
No, there are no duck necks. But you know what? The meatloaf recipe that I've been dying to try for years is the one where there's entire hard-boiled eggs, like cooked inside of the meatloaf. So you slice the meatloaf and you get like a cross section of a hard-boiled egg in there.
Are you trying to make it more gross? What the hell? Who's eating meatloaf going, hey, you know what this kid needs?
Hard-boiled eggs.
Some hard-boiled egg.
Oh boy.
But boy, now that you're doing the fancy way of, doing a cross section of it, you have piqued my interest. So be sure to check those out at Steve and Kyle on Twitter, Facebook.com/Steve
Come on, people,
and
don't let me
Kyle.
down. I'm on a losing streak.
And how should we word it? Just what do you prefer?
Yeah, I think that the polls that work out the best are the ones that we make as simple as possible.
so what do you
Which
prefer?
is better, SpaghettiOs or
Okay.
homemade meatloaf?
Homemade meatloaf.
Yeah, it
okay.
has to be key that it's homemade.
Does Marie Callender's have a meatloaf?
Probably. I bet you can go out and buy meatloaf.
There's no question. But I've always looked at meatloaf in the same regard as when I go by and I see, and I remember from elementary school day, one of the lunches that I dreaded the most was Salisbury steak day.
Yeah, there are certain places that, like, I'll go into places and I'll look at the menu. Like, any kind of diner type atmosphere, I'm not ordering. Like, to me, a diner, that type of restaurant, that casual dining, you don't order steaks there.
Oh, sure.
That's for, like, club sandwiches.
Yep.
And chicken fingers.
Yeah.
French fries.
Yeah, right? But I compare meatloaf to Salisbury steak in that regard. The look...
Is Salisbury steak, I'm assuming, is like a garbage cut of beef, right?
Yeah, and then they just throw gravy on it. It's like, hey, Salisbury steak.
Hey, This looks good.
Ridiculous. Just ridiculous.
We're I want to make sure that you're out of here on time.
Yeah.
So why don't we nix the Fast Five, or
Yeah, we can. Yeah, I feel bad doing it.
or we just do them
Let's race.
insanely fast.
Let's do it. Let's race Fast Five, baby. Woo!
The iPad died, so I need to wait.
Fast Five.
No, I got it. Here we go.
got it. Okay,
Here we
good.
go. I got a backup plan.
Fast 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, a true form of the Fast Five. Steve R. Kelly.
Oh, guilty.
The Oscars. Robert
go.
Kraft. Dianne Feinstein.
First prostitutes.
Zion Williamson.
Oh, his shoe broke. Okay.
The turnaround. Zion. Shoe.
Oh, that's a
bad
shame.
bummer.
A lot of
Dianne
money.
Feinstein. I did want to talk. Did you see that video
No.
clip? She was doing a visit.
Boy, that is just not fast enough. All right, here we go. Robert Kraft, Zion Williamson,
Ooh.
Jussie Smollett, R. Kelly, and PETA versus Steve Irwin.
Go Irwin.
And here's the turnaround. PETA versus Steve Irwin.
Yay!
Boy, that's a shame. And then... That was fast. That was the fastest we've done it. Congratulations.
That was how we envisioned the Fast Five being before it
Now
turned
it takes
into
up
an
half the show.
18-minute segment.
half the show.
At some point, we've got to bring back the Not So Fast Five,
Yeah.
which is just a longer version of that.
Yep. Oh, man. That was fun. Fun
The
episode.
Oscars have already taken place, so congratulations to A Star Is Born for winning everything.
I actually still have the notes from our talk with Stan the Movie Man from last week. So I have all of his predictions. Obviously, we're recording. The Oscars are taking place tonight, the day that we're recording. This episode coming out in 2 days. So on next week's episode, we will recap, see how Stan actually did with all of his all of his predictions. In the meantime, you can follow us on Twitter at Steve and Kyle. Individually, you can find our Twitters from at Steve and Kyle. On Facebook at Steve and Kyle. Instagram at Steve and Kyle. You can download, subscribe, and review the show in iTunes, the Apple Podcasts app, Google Play, TuneIn, Stitcher, YouTube, Libsyn, Spotify. I don't know if the iHeart thing is working yet or not. I feel like it's not.
Very frustrated with that.
Call or text your questions or comments or concerns. 424-30-SK-POD. That's 424-307-5763. And we will get to all of them in an upcoming episode, kind of a specialty episode that we are working on coordinating.
Yeah, please do. Please send those again, that phone number. Looking forward to doing something with that.
424-30-SK-POD, 424-307-5763. So we'll talk to you next week.
Come to Frickers.
Yeah, Frickers Van Wert. Yell at them. I mean, nicely. on social media.
Nicely yell at them.
See ya.